to put this on YouTube as well. Hey, we've got so many buttons to push, Robin.
I would point out that I'm not a comedian, but I am in a car right now, so I don't know.
Are you in a Porsche?
No, not in a Porsche.
Nah.
Much more modest than that.
Well, if you sell enough of these books, it might happen.
Yeah, well, not my taste, but that'd be nice.
Have you had any feedback from the people who love cats who don't get what you're doing here?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that. I want to hear about that. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
My book's a dark comedy, and it's fiction. It's, like you said, it's Dead Cats and Other Reflections on Parenthood, and it deals with an unreliable narrator, and one of the delusions he has is this dead cat that it was the family tabby. He got jealous of the attention that his wife and kids and the love that they were paying to that and not paying to him, and he ran it over, and it sort of haunts him like a telltale heart.
Oh my God.
And I have had a couple of people not understand that this is fiction, and read more into that about my feelings for cats than is actually there in real life.
Yeah. Did you have any moments with potential publishers who let you know that they didn't like dead cat books?
Yeah, actually, one of them that was definitely a thing. They said, I don't remember the exact wording, but the word animal abuse was thrown out there, where they stopped reading it animal abuse. So there is. I'd like to say there isn't really any animal abuse in the book, but some people are more sensitive to that than others.
You address the men that have to go under changes because they're reaching middle age.
Yeah, so that's a big theme in the book. The narrator is you sort of reach him at the beginning of the end of his success in life, and he's going through a divorce. He's got a drug problem. He's a dentist, but his dental practice is crumbling. He's lost, any goodwill that he had left with his family, and he's living in this garage, sort of watching his wife and daughters live on happily without him, and he sort of wonders what worth he has anymore. Like who needs him in life. And so the book really tracks his attempts to pick up the pieces and reform his life. And the only friend that he can find who's willing to help him along that path is the ghost of Kurt Cobain. And I'm not sure that Kurt Cobain actually knew, how to navigate through.
No, he
the
killed
challenges
himself
of middle age either.
Right.
Yeah,
How would he know?
Suicide.
The two of them fumble their way through this clumsy, ham-handed attempt at bringing meaning back to their lives.
Do you think men had an easier time in the 50s?
I do think so. I think, I think that society is changing. I think it's changing for the better. You see that a lot with the Me Too movement, where it's just, I think women are sort of sick of being viewed as second class just based off of how they were born. And I think that that's sort of a struggle for some men to accept that, that you're not, the way you were born doesn't entitle you to anything. I see this in my own life. My wife is really successful, super smart. She owns a small business, employs about a dozen people, much higher business acumen than I have. And, we'll go to meetings, or we'll meet with insurance agents, or with things that are exclusively about her business where I'm just tagging along. And if it's a man on the other end, they'll really direct, even if it's directly about her business, they'll direct their eye contact and most of their attention towards me. And there's times when I just have to stand up and walk away and just let them this is hers, respect her.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That happened to Robin one time. Robin had a tire that was funky. Something was up with the tire. So she brought it to this place, and they said they couldn't find anything. And they're looking at me while they're telling me we couldn't find anything. And the guy raises his eyebrows as if to say, I don't know what's going on here, but we didn't find anything. Long story short, Robin takes it to another place. There was a bubble in the tire. And I'm thinking, wow, of all the things they couldn't find a bubble.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hear what you're saying. That it is kind of crazy that we do that, isn't it? That we have this arrogance about us. I hope I don't, but I think we in general do.
Yeah, I think it's something you definitely have to be conscious of, and everybody deserves respect, and that's one of the themes in the book too. Is this sort of the character really struggles with once all of his entitlement, what's left for him, and what value does he hold just as a person. And what's his place in society anymore? So
did you write it in a way similar to, and I don't mean the style but similar to, and help, let me explain before you don't get the right idea, like the way Archie Bunker was written and the way Homer Simpson is written. It doesn't necessarily mean that the writers agree with Homer's thoughts or with Archie Bunker's thoughts, but a lot of people couldn't get past that, and they didn't realize what the writers were really trying to say. Is that kind of the same thing here? Is what you're doing? And in other words, the publisher that was angry at you for the cat part didn't read enough to see that there was really some solid material here.
Yeah, I think that's true. And Archie Bunker was before my time, but The Simpsons were definitely not. I was as a kid, I was a 2 episode a night Simpsons habit. It was on at 7:30, and then it was on again at 11:30, and I made sure I saw both of those. And the way, I think that's right. So the way they treated Homer, I don't think the audience ever took Homer seriously. It was always acknowledged, sort of what a bumbling fool he was, and that was the comedy in it. Perhaps he was more lighthearted than my main character was, and at the end of the day, lovable. But I do see there's similarities there.
But your guy learns. Homer doesn't ever learn.
Yeah, that's debatable. I mean, he learns. I think he learns and realizes, but I think he struggles to apply that to his life. What he learned.
And it seems that sometimes your character has a hard time adjusting to other people's points of view, that he thinks it's all one-sided about him, but he comes to the realization that it's not.
Yeah, that's true. His ego definitely drives, I would say, especially the build up before the book starts taking place. His life prior to where you find him was all driven by his ego. And he's sort of led around by the status symbols that he thinks are important and that sort of define him as a man. And then that's stripped away, and he realizes that those were, sort of artificial edifices that he hid behind. And then where he gets to the struggle point is, okay, what's my pivot? What do I do now?
You've got the 2017 Book Life Prize as a semifinalist. Somebody must have read it and got it, huh?
Yeah, no, it's I submitted it to the Publishers Weekly. Runs a Book Life Prize. It's called the Book Life Prize. It's run by Publishers Weekly. They do it every year. I think there's about 800 or so applicants last year. It's for independent authors and unpublished manuscripts. And Dead Cats was a semifinalist. I think that means we were somewhere around the top 15.
That's outstanding. Yeah.
So it was really nice to get that feedback, because that was really the first thing like that I had submitted to, outside of a friends and family circle who had read it.
And your book is described as dark humor, and it really is entertaining.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And I always, especially when I was first sending drafts around, it always came with a caveat, like, this is supposed to be funny, because it's funny to me. And so I always appreciate whenever anybody else also realizes that it's funny.
One of the phrases you use, I've often thought this, actually, you use the phrase male privilege. You hear about white privilege a lot, but I've often thought, well, I don't know that all white people are privileged. I think men are more privileged than women. And you can even narrow it down to wealthy men. It's wealthy man privilege.
Yeah.
Or wealthy white man privilege, or just wealthy privilege, I think. I don't know. Is that part of his character too? He's got a little bit, he's a little bit affluent?
Yep, definitely. He's well-to-do. I think you know, it was an important, I have a daughter, I have a wife, obviously. And, it was just an important thing for me to explore, with this book about where that fits in our society now. And, you know, is that going away? You guys still there?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. That's music. Is that going away? You know, and what's happening to the men that have relied on that as a platform for their life?
And in your real life, your real wife, does she like the book?
She does, yeah. And so she was the first person to read it, and to say that I hovered over her like a helicopter, like trying to read her eyes.
Oh no!
Trying to catch her smiling at certain lines would be an understatement. When the first draft. So if she had hated it, it probably wouldn't have made it any farther.
So Joel Peterson is not you. Is it somebody you know?
It's not me, thankfully, and I'm glad that people don't think it's me, which is, you know, not something I've been confronted with a lot, but something that I was definitely worried about. And it's not based off of anybody particularly that I know. He is a dentist. I've gotten this question a lot too. If I hate dentists, I don't hate dentists, and they serve a necessary function for our society. I do see my dentist twice a year, and this is also not based off of my dentist. Although I have not given him a copy of it, you know, just because I don't want any misunderstandings there when he's prodding me with sharp tools.
Well, Jesse, good luck with everything. Thank you for taking some time to be with us this morning. Jesse sent us a copy of the book. So if I have one listener who would like the one I have, you call me and I'll give it to you. The rest of us have to buy it. I did find it on Amazon. By the way, your readers are giving you really good reviews. Do you have a website for yourself or for the book?
Yeah, thanks, Larry. It's jessymckinnell.com. That's just an E on the Jesse, no IE, and then 2 N's, 2 L's on the McKinnell. And I've got signed copies on my website. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, a couple other places.
Okay, very good. Let me give away the book real quickly. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Hi, this is Gene.
Okay, you got it, Gene. They'll be waiting for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jesse, thank you and good luck.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll be right back.
Is the internet driving business to your business? Hi, I'm Michael Warren with Brick City Interactive. At Brick City, we've been putting the web to work for businesses since 1998. We want to help you too, whether you're a real estate office, law office, medical office, manufacturer, retailer, a